difficulties this morning, but I want to welcome everybody here. This morning you may have heard about a loss of a student from HSC schools who passed away over the weekend in a car accident. And before we start our program, I'd like to just ask for a moment of silence in prayer for Mason Alexander and his family as they're going through a difficult time, and also our community. We wish them, embrace them in this difficult time, and so if we could please have a moment of silence in his honor. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Cecilia Coble. I am one of the city council members here for the City of Fishers and also one of the co-chairs of the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability. It's a true honor to welcome all of you today as we come together to celebrate March Disability Awareness Month and to recognize and honor the deaf and hard of hearing community. Language is a powerful tool, one that connects us all, regardless of ability. Whether it's spoken, signed, or written, language allows us to share experiences, build relationships, and foster understanding. This month, we shine a light on the importance of inclusion, accessibility, and breaking down the barriers through this year's theme, Connected Through Language. The deaf and hard of hearing community has a rich culture, history, and language, and it's essential that we continue to celebrate and uplift their voices. Through American Sign Language, ASL, and other forms of communication, the deaf community has shown us the incredible strength of connection, expression, and resilience. Let's embrace the opportunity to learn from one another, challenge assumptions, and continue to create a world where all voices are heard and valued. By coming together in this celebration, we reinforce the belief that true connection transcends all boundaries. At this time, I'd like to welcome Kelly Hartman, who co-chairs the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability with me.
Good morning. Like two people said something. Good morning. I would love to just shine a light on the importance of language. And what I want you to think about for 1 second is no matter what you do, no matter where you work, no matter what labels or colors or any kind of label that is associated with you, know this, one thing that we share is that what you're communicating is not always just coming out of your mouth, right? It is how you stand. It is how you make eye contact with people. It is a lot of things. In fact, 50% of our messages are more than language. It is nonverbal. It is what we do with our bodies and how we treat each other, and that's all communication. And so it's exciting this month to celebrate all the different ways that people communicate, and really it just makes our community better for us to include one another. I want to give a special shout out to our title sponsor, Old National Bank, for I believe this is their 5th or 6th year, willing to really put the name of a community bank, the largest bank that is based here in Indiana, behind this event. And Rafael Sanchez will be speaking with us for a little bit, but let's give them a special round of applause. I also want to thank sponsors Fishers Magazine, Hamilton East Public Library, the Fishers Arts Council, One Zone, Outside the Box, Relay Indiana, Real America, K-Quad Consulting, OPG, which is Opportunities for Positive Growth, Kids Inc., Sorensen, and Hamilton County Tourism. So thank you guys all for supporting the activities of this month. I want to also thank our planning committee for the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability, If you have been involved in the planning of this event, could you please stand up and be recognized? And I know we have some elected officials here. A city doesn't become great without great leaders, so if you could stand up, our elected officials, I see you. Give them a round of applause. Thank you guys so much for being here. And next, I would love to introduce Rafael Sanchez. I've had the opportunity to be in the room with both Rafael Sanchez's that are popular in our community, and this Rafael Sanchez is my favorite. He is the Executive Vice President and President of the Indianapolis Market for Old National Bank, our title sponsor, and he's going to share some opening words. Thanks for being here.
That's what happens when you're presenting sponsor, you get to be the favorite. But thank you, Kelly, really appreciate it. I was gonna ask you how many years it was, but you called me out on it. I was gonna embellish a little bit and say it was 20 years, but it's fine, it's maybe 5 or 6. But we're really proud to be the presenting sponsor again this year. And so on behalf of Old National, it's great, with great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Disability Awareness event here in beautiful Fishers, Indiana, a place I call home for the last 23 years. We're honored to serve as the presenting sponsor for this pivotal occasion dedicated to fostering understanding, inclusivity, and support for individuals with disabilities. Today we come together to celebrate, sorry, I'm recovering from everything that's going around. We come together to celebrate the incredible strength, resilience, and contributions of individuals with disabilities in our communities. It's a time not only to raise awareness, but also to break down barriers and encourage dialogue that can lead to meaningful change. And we sure live in interesting times, but at Old National Bank, we believe that diversity is a strength, and we are committed to ensuring that everyone has equal opportunities to thrive and succeed. We are grateful for the collaboration of local organizations, advocates, and community members who are passionate about making a difference. To name a few, my dear friends, Kelly Hartman and Cecilia Coble, thank you for always carrying the torch and for inviting me every year to do this. Your dedication and hard work inspires us all, reminding us that together we can create an environment where inclusivity is the norm and everyone can participate fully in society. As we move through today's program, I encourage each of you to engage, to listen, to learn, and let's use this gathering as a catalyst for action, not only for today, but for everyday lives. Together, we can ensure that our community is a place where everyone has the chance to achieve their dreams, free from limitations, based on ability. Thank you for being here and for your commitment to making a positive impact. Let's embark on this journey together as we broaden our understanding and create a more inclusive future for all. Enjoy the event.
The IT system is catching up. So I would like to welcome you to Fishers Advisory Committee's Disability Awareness Month. And, you know, I've been a resident of Fishers for over 20 years now. Wow, I'm getting old. That must be why my hair's gray. And I'm really, really proud to live in a community that is inclusive and does want an environment that all people can thrive. So we would like to show you the proclamation video, and as soon as that's over, someone who needs no introduction will come up and speak further, Mayor Scott Fadness.
Whereas the month of March designated as Disability Awareness Month to celebrate and recognize people with disabilities. Whereas disability is a natural part of the human experience and in no way diminishes the right of individuals with disabilities to live independently, enjoy self-determination, make choices, contribute to society, and experience full in the economic, political, social, cultural, and educational mainstream of American society. And whereas family members, friends, and members of the community can play a central role in enhancing the lives of people with disabilities, especially when the family and community are provided with necessary support services. And public and private employers are aware of the capabilities of people with disabilities to be engaged in competitive work in inclusive settings. And whereas the goals of this city properly include providing individuals with disabilities the opportunities and support to make informed choices and decisions, live in homes and communities where such individuals can exercise their full rights and responsibilities as citizens, pursue meaningful and productive lives, contribute to their family, community, state, and nation, have interdependent friendships and relationships with others, and achieve full inclusion in society. Now, therefore, I, Scott Fadness, Mayor of the City of Fishers, along with the Honorable City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Disability Awareness Month in the City of Fishers and call upon citizens to observe the month with appropriate programs and activities. Furthermore, I encourage the citizens of Fishers to seek counsel and input from any person or group with knowledge and expertise in matters concerning disabilities.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. As the introduction said, my name is Scott Fadness. I have the opportunity to be the mayor here in the City of Fishers. Have been the mayor for the last decade, and I have to thank Cecilia Coble, our city councilwoman, who has worked tirelessly to be an advocate for people who are living with disabilities. And the progress that we've made is extraordinary. We have a long ways to go, but the improvement is real. And I just want to thank her and the entire committee, Kelly, the whole crew. Thank you so much for all that you do. So there's a lot of people here on my team today, policemen, firemen, a lot of our leadership staff are here today, and we're committed for a vision of our community that we're going to create an environment where every individual that calls Fishers home has the best potential to reach their true economic, financial, social potential. So from the city's perspective, we have to continue to learn, we have to continue to evolve. It's really extraordinary if you think about the evolution of this community. You know, 20 years ago, it was a small little farm town, and most of the people that lived here literally had come from a farm somewhere else and had decided to call Fishers home. Today, we're a global city. People are moving here from all over the world, and they're bringing their lived experiences, whether that's a cultural difference, whether that's a difference in abilities, whether it's a difference in religion. All of those are coming to a convergence here in the City of Fishers. And we have to continue to evolve and adapt to make sure that we're a community that truly is inclusive of all different walks of life. One of the ways that we do that is we learn. We talk less and we listen more. And so today I'm very, very excited to have the opportunity to talk to some of the leaders in our deaf community about their lived experience. And every time we have these events, every March we come together to have these conversations, we take something away from it. Really, truly, for our staff, for me, it's an opportunity to gain insights from other individuals and to help inform public policy as we go back to City Hall, as we go back to our workday, to ensure that we're informed in a way that allows us to make the best possible decisions on behalf of every individual in the City of Fishers. So without further ado, I'm going to talk less and listen more, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation today about the insights that our deaf community has here in the City of Fishers. And for that, I'm going to ask Cecilia Cole to kick us off.
Thank you, Mayor. According to the National Deaf Center, approximately 3.6% of the U.S. population considers themselves deaf or hard of hearing. Today, we're going to hear from three amazing individuals from the Fishers community that are going to share their life experience from the deaf and hard of hearing perspective. I want to have a warm welcome to our three panelists, Jason Wagner, Arena Burke, and Greg Gant. If you could please come up, we're going to hear a little bit about them and It's going to be very interesting and informative for sure.
Well, to start with, perhaps each and every one of you could just share a little bit about who you are, how long you've lived in Fishers, and what you do for a living.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Jason Wagner, and my family moved here in 2010 from New York City. Our family is very proud to call Fishers home. I work for Sorensen Communications, a video relay service company, as the National Sales Director. So thank you for having me here today.
Awesome, Jason. We love the fact that you moved from New York to Fishers. That's awesome.
It was a big change, but I love it.
Hi, I'm Irina, and I moved here. I've been here about 8 years now. I grew up in Ukraine, I'm sorry. I moved here, and I've been here about 8 years. I'm working at Sorensen as an employee benefit specialist. I have 2 beautiful children and a family. Just like Jason said, I am proud to call Fishers home.
That's incredible, and she just beat you for the furthest away transplant, so that's awesome.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Gant. I've been here for 30 years. I've lived in Fishers for 30 years, and so you could call me ancient. I moved here, back then there was nothing here like you see today in Fishers. It was like a one-stoplight, sleepy little town, and there was farmland and just nothing else, and it's just blown up since then. It's really wild to think about. So I do have 2 children, and they went to Fishers High School, and then I work for Riley Hospital. Relay, Indiana, I'm sorry. And so I've worked there, and I work in community relations as well, and I thank you all so much for your support in coming here today.
Well, that's fantastic. So we all share a lot in common. I did not grow up here in Fishers. I moved here, started my family, work here in the city, but we do have differences in our lived experiences. And so, Greg, maybe I could start with you as an individual who's lived here for 30 years. Tell me about what the differences were in your lived experience as a person that belongs to the deaf community. What were some of the cultural challenges that came with living in suburbia over the last 30 years?
Yeah, I could start with accessibility. When I first moved here 30 years ago, I learned about some issues that impacted Fishers, like housing issues, public hearings, and there were no interpreters provided at the hearings. So I wasn't aware of what was going on 30 years ago. And so if there were any issues, we had to personally request an interpreter, and now today it's much easier. They get interpreters immediately for us. For example, when we had public meetings about the Fishers Community Center, I had requested an interpreter, and they said sure, and an interpreter was provided for me with no issues. And so I can absolutely see that change over the past 30 years. I mean, I think 30 years ago, I was one of the first few deaf families that have lived here. And today, there's many deaf families that live here. So back then, I mean, we had sports programs here as well. And so we do still provide interpreters for those sports programs, especially if there's any deaf parents that come to watch their hearing kids. We absolutely provide advocacy for them to get access as well. And so for sure, over the past 30 years, Fishers has provided more inclusion for the community.
Irina, I hear about the growing and growing deaf community within the city of Fishers. As someone who's not part of the deaf community, this may seem like a simple question, but is the deaf community well connected? Are people in the deaf community, is that a subculture of its own where people are getting together? And what is that culture like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, the deaf community is very strong here. I remember before I moved here, I was a little nervous, you know, I wasn't sure how the community was going to be, but after I moved here, they are all, everybody is moving here from somewhere else, and you know, we have such a good unity and relationship. There's so many different stories. I feel like we've really become one. And during this process, you know, I've been involved in CODA events and, you know, where the deaf parents and the children who are hearing, they've gotten together. But both of those parents, it doesn't mean both of those parents have to be deaf. One of those parents can be deaf. Over here, Jason, that was kind of how he started with committees and kind of getting that started. There's different life situations that have come up, but you know, that I've been able to get involved in that, and I'm hungry to continue getting that community even closer here. So we have a very big deaf family, and in that process, we've seen how much it's grown. It's such a strong community. Really, I'm so proud to be deaf. It's a beautiful culture. Signing is wonderful. The events that we have, it's not only for those CODAs, there's other events that are around Indiana, and they happen often, so it's great.
So Jason, when the deaf community comes together and socializing, and I think about just sitting around having dinner, and you start to talk about the community and some of the challenges and opportunities, what are some of the common conversations that come up while you guys are conversing?
Did you all understand what I just said? That is my biggest challenge growing up and being able to communicate with hearing people. When we get together with deaf family and friends, it's like, you know, it's like we could finally express ourselves. We can finally be heard and understand one another. I had to have, you know, I would have to have friends or my mom with me to sign and interpret for me what the family was saying, and that applies to many people within the deaf community not being able to access, you know, conversation with their family and friends. That's the biggest challenge that comes up.
And I'd like to add something as well. Is that okay?
Please.
Perfect. Yeah, for me, it was different. I had a deaf family, so we were able to communicate at the dinner tables with no problem. But when I went to my friend's house, it wasn't the same. There was a lack of communication and access to communication with that family. So being close to that situation, I could tell, you know, they would tell me my parents don't talk with me, you know, I'm behind and what's going on, and that's an ongoing problem. So I'm so lucky that I have a deaf family, but I feel very strongly for those that did not have access to communication, even within their family. It really touches my heart.
I have a comment as well. And so she just mentioned that she has a deaf family, and that's very rare. 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. And unfortunately, most of them, those hearing parents don't know sign language. And so they don't want to learn, or they don't have time, and so it's hard to communicate within the family unit. I was born to hearing parents. And fortunately, my parents did learn sign language while I was growing up, but that is very rare. So I don't know, she's probably part of that 10% that had deaf parents.
Yeah, it's really small.
And so, you know, like at the dinner table, we have something called dinner table syndrome. And so, for example, like at a Thanksgiving holiday, and we would go visit our hearing family, everyone's at the dinner table talking in English, and just like Jason said, I would have to ask my mom to sign or interpret for me at the dinner table, or my sister who knew some sign language. I would say, hey, can you interpret for me? But most often, everyone else is involved in another conversation and I'm left out. So
I'm going to ask the candid question. For those of us that have hearing and we're interacting with the deaf community, what do we always do wrong?
Well, most of the time, hearing people will make up their own signs. And of course, they're trying their best, and we try our best to understand what they're saying, but sometimes they will make up their own sound. For example, they'll say, good morning. This is the sign for good morning. Some people will go, good morning, like that, and that's the wrong sign. No, it's like this. It's like this. So I have to kind of correct their signs. You've got to be careful. It can lead to misunderstandings. So that's a big challenge.
I'd like to add to that. Similarly, I think it's funny, but when I meet a hearing person and they're talking to me, I'll, let them know I'm deaf, and then they get louder, and I'm like, no, I'm still deaf, and they get louder or closer to my ear, and I'm like, no, I'm never going to hear you. You're going to have to write it down. So that's something that's common. I'm sure they both have experienced it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And, and other things that they might do wrong, is I might say, I can't hear, and they're like, oh, can you read lips? No. I mean, technically, I could read lips in some situations, but honestly, I won't fully understand. I'd rather write it down on a piece of paper or text on the phone. They have voice to text, so if a hearing person speaks English, it will actually show up on the phone so that I can write back to them or write back on a piece of paper. But don't ask, hey, can you read my lips? Because honestly, no.
So what are the things that we should do? If you're talking about the police officer that interacts with an individual, the fireman, the customer service person at the front desk, or just a resident in Fishers, what are the things we should be doing? How should we approach interacting and communicating with people in the deaf community?
Those are a couple of different situations. First, for first responders, we would love to see a partnership with the deaf community so that they can learn some very basic sign language if it's a critical or emergency situation. If something happens and I'm injured, I'm laying on the ground, I would like to be able to communicate with first responders. If you're feeling anxiety or if there's an injury, it's hard to write down or text, so signing would be better. Out in the community, it's a little bit easier just being warm or friendly and trying to communicate. I would like to, again, I would want to focus more on that first responders situation. When I first moved here, I was actually driving and I was pulled over by the police, which was fine. I knew that I was speeding, so they shined the light in my eyes and I couldn't see at all. I had my mirrors, with my side mirrors. I was very nervous because I've heard stories about misunderstandings with deaf people signing, and it looks like they're grabbing for a weapon or they're trying to do something, and so the officer pulls a weapon on them. So I kept a hold of my steering wheel until the police arrived at my window, and I explained that I was deaf, and the officer wasn't quite sure what to do with me, and I wasn't quite sure what to do in that situation too, so we didn't get off on the right foot and have a really good rapport there. So I would like to see more first responders learning some basic sign language of how to interact with the deaf community.
Like he said, we have different situations where this could happen, and so it's not really that we're expecting you to work on this on your own, but it's more of a partnership. Even with the police, for example, first tell them I'm deaf, and keep your hands on the steering wheel, I'm not doing anything, I'm deaf. Most of the time, I've been stopped by Fishers police before, and, they might let me go, or maybe, there might be no issues, but, the police officer will come to my window I'll have my hands on the steering wheel, and then we might text back and forth on the phone, or, write back and forth on a piece of paper to kind of explain what's going on. As far as customer service, again, each deaf person's preference is different. I prefer speech to text so that the phone will, populate what the person is saying so that I can read it in real time and then I can text back to them. Some deaf people prefer paper and pen and writing back and forth like that. Some prefer gesturing. Again, each situation, it kind of calls for a different communication preference, so it could depend.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that. What both of them said, those are really good, and it's a good reminder that there are bad experiences out there for deaf people. Like worst case scenario, it could end in a fight with a police officer. Maybe they're not understanding; they think they're related to gang signs or something. Instead of just our language. So we have to use our hands to communicate, to gesture or to point. So there's many sad stories out there. Rather than a do not do, maybe trying to, some people, like he said, maybe at the front desk, it would be really nice if you had it set up for a VRI, a video relay interpreter, or, maybe a video phone, something that, deaf people, when they come in, they can call and, get the information. Maybe if we don't have our phone or it was taken, it would just be nice to have something set up so that we have access, just like Jason said. It's a partnership with the deaf community, so if we can work together, it'll help a lot, and there's a lot of little things that we can improve on. So we're really happy to partner and be supportive, and that's what we ask for.
And I'd like to add one more thing. When I've been to Orange Theory Fitness, such a great place to work out, and a lot of socialization that happens there. Everybody's very friendly and willing to learn sign. For example, they have like base level that you have to put like basic signs put up, like push, do this, do that. Just, it's very signing friendly, and I feel more included, and I'm able to bring my deaf friends to come too, and they enjoy it as well. And that's the kind of community situation we're looking for. In New York City, there's so much diversity. It's hard to have that kind of exposure, but Fishers is a great place where you can kind of support each other. And once deaf people are aware that something is happening here and the exposure happens, it just creates more warmth in that area. And again, that's why I'm proud to call Fishers home.
Having spent some time in Manhattan, there's only really one sign language I've seen them use typically.
You're right, I agree.
I want to make sure that we leave here with a key takeaway from you folks in the deaf community that are leading. As a community, if you were in my seat, if you were part of city leadership, and you wanted us to take away one item of insight from each one of you that could help inform us to make us an even better community, what would it be?
That's a really tough question. I've been involved with leadership throughout many different organizations, from student government, and we always want to make sure that everyone feels warmly welcomed, that there's no resistance, no rudeness, but just respect and dignity. Being willing to learn about other cultures, not only deaf cultures, but people within the disability community, but other religious, just we're all humans, so just all working together, like this type of event, to raise awareness and exposure so that people can get more involved, and with other events that are hosted, making sure that everybody is warmly welcomed regardless of ability. Hosting workshops, meetings, committee discussions, so resolving frustrations and issues that come up, working together, I think, is the primary key.
I agree with that.
I mean, so I don't know if there's one thing. I think there's many, but I think it's important for deaf people to feel like they're welcomed in the community too. And so we're human beings as well. So we have the same needs and the same dreams as everyone else does. And so the only difference is that we can't hear. So, we just use sign language. And I know that deaf is considered invisible, like an invisible disability. I'm sure, you guys could pass me on the street and maybe you speak English to me to say something and they don't know that I'm deaf because it's an invisible disability. There are other disabilities that you can recognize. For example, a wheelchair, or if a blind person is using a cane and it's a physical disability. But then we have, a communication disability. And so there's different disabled people that, can speak English still, but we use a different language. If you don't know sign language and I can't speak English, there's that kind of, inability to communicate. And so, you can try your best to talk to us and communicate the best way that we can. If I meet someone and I say, hey, I'm deaf, they might say, oh gosh, never mind, and walk away. But you should really try. There's many different ways to communicate, no matter what.
Irina, anything?
Really, I think they said it all. A lot of times you may hear never mind in our life, or maybe if there's somebody hearing, maybe they'll ask us a kind of question, like if you've never been in that place before. We are like you, we learn like you. We want to know what's on the news, we hear what's on the news. So if you come up to us and we want to know what's going on. So you want to feel normal, as normal as possible. So it's just because we can't hear, that's the only thing. But, being interviewed and what kind of work I have, and you know what I mean? So there's so many options. There's plenty of options. Deaf people are not limited. So that communication, thinking, oh, it's too hard to communicate. Please try. We don't want that barrier. We can take that away.
Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for choosing Fishers to be your home. Secondly, I want to thank you for all the great insights today and appreciate this. I think there's a lot of good takeaways for my team as well as the community. So please thank the panel today. I would like to ask Kelly and Cecilia to step forward.
Let's all give them one round of applause, one last. Excellent.
This is our favorite part of the program.
Well, I was going to go off script for a second. I'm sure you're surprised by that. I was standing over there and I was inspired. And while I've worked in a field of helping people who have different abilities be included for 35 years, I went and asked Ross, I was like, do they need a hand mic? Nope, they have their hand mic over here. And I think that just that awareness shines a light on how important this month is. And when you think about inclusion, I just want to share a little study with you. There was a doctoral dissertation out of Purdue University, and if you look at Cyberball, you can learn more about this. But how many of you are old enough to remember the game Pong? How many of you spent hours turning something that looked like a light dimmer to get that little thing? Well, imagine 3 people playing Pong. And what the study did was it hooked people up to brain imaging. And the players are playing ball and they're passing it to all 3 people. And without any notification or explanation, one person was excluded from the game. The brain imaging of a person who felt excluded was the same brain imaging when you feel physical pain. And I think it's important for us as a community all month to understand we don't want to ever have people feel pain. And when you are excluding, putting people aside, putting people in the corner because maybe you don't understand, that is painful. And so I just want to share that with you for an extra thought. And for people who have broken through all kinds of barriers, we're now going to recognize some amazing humans in our community that give us something to feel that we can aspire for. Are you ready? First one. See, I'm going to cry already. The Life Without Limits Award is given to an individual with physical and/or intellectual disabilities who has demonstrated outstanding contributions to the community of Fishers by promoting inclusion, independence, and eliminating barriers. Contributions of community life, including art, culture, athletics, workplace, education, leadership, and service, and just being an amazing human being. Please direct your attention to the screen as we recognize the winner of the winner of Life Without Limits Award, Carter Schmidt. Talking about being connected through language. I feel like I'm at church, and I'm waiting for that guy to turn the thing on up there.
Sadly, it's not that easy.
Well, and you don't want me to sing.
We're gonna have to move the PC.
What?
Someone's coming down.
I know. So let me just take a commercial break. This is why we need closed captioning all the time, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. And it's such an important thing. But if we had closed captioning on these, we wouldn't need the audio because I could just narrate in my best voice, my radio voice. Do we have closed captioning we can turn on? We're going to do that. Watch this. Hello, my name is Carter Schmidt. I'd like to thank Mrs. Linneman for nominating me. A few words from Mrs. Linneman. Carter Schmidt is an exceptional young man who's exceeded all expectations. As a senior at Fishers High School, he thrives in our general education classes. He leads as a quarterback for the Unified Flag Football Team and actively participates in Unified Track and Unified Basketball. Carter's leadership shines whether attending the principal breakfast, leadership retreat, working at the Pacers gift shop, which I'm always trying to have him get me. Hey, Lord have mercy, closed captioning doesn't go this fast. Mrs. Linneman, slow down. He's a role model. He doesn't limit a meaningful, fulfilling, congratulations, Schmitty. I will say that as a personal note, I have known Carter since he was about this tall, and I could not be more and more proud of you. You have just evolved into this amazing young man. Oh, we're still doing the video. And what inspires you is my parents, because they're always there for me. Aww. My favorite thing about Fishers is going to Tuesday night concerts. My favorite concert was the Bruno Mars concert at the Tuesday night on the Nickel Plate Trail. It's so important because it just celebrates people with disabilities. Congratulations, Carter Schmidt.
Carter, congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I'll try and make this fast other than the scores last night. I'd just like to, thank all the people who have supported me through my life, parents, friends, teachers. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we're going to have a photo op with the mayor here. If Carter and his family would like to come up here, we're going to do a photo op with him and the mayor. If you could stand over there.
Family.
And you want me to use this one? Okay.
I'm not the mayor. I thought we were going to.
Congratulations, Carter. Thank you for all you do.
The Cornerstone Employer Award is given to an individual, business, or organization in the Fishers community that has demonstrated an exemplary commitment to providing inclusion, career training, employment, and/or advancement opportunities to persons with disabilities. Our award this year for the Cornerstone Employer Award is from Spoke Note representatives Corey McCachran and John Wexler. Please direct your attention to the screen, and you can read your own captions this time as we recognize the winner of the 2025 Cornerstone Employer Award.
All right, I'm John Wexler. I'm founder and CEO of Spoke Note. We are a company based here in Fishers. We help our customers add video to anything. So the idea behind Spoke Note is that if you're doing a direct mail campaign or internal training, or if anything related to sports marketing, like commemorative tickets, any place where memories are created, we help capture those, and then we can add those memories to anything from direct mail to internal communication. So that's what we do.
And my name is Corey McCachran, and I am the director for personal press, and I was actually Spoke Note employee number 1 and spun out of that into our print company. And basically what I focus on is taking those physical items and adding Spoke Notes to those and printing and producing those, as well as any other project and job.
So one of the things we've always believed in, even going all the way back to our early days at Launch Fishers or here at the Indiana IoT Lab, any organization I've ever been involved with, I really am a big believer and a big advocate for fair play in general. I think it's really important that we're smart about who we choose as partners and suppliers, but also when we build out the team, we want to make sure that everybody has their opportunity to shine. And so that's something that Corey and I worked on in the very early days with Ryan to make sure that we could create an environment where he could be a meaningful part of our team. And we just think it's super important that that owners, CEOs, and managers of companies, not only here in Fishers but everywhere, make sure that they create space for everyone to contribute and be a meaningful part of the team.
Yeah. And it goes way back to me to when I was childhood. We had a family friend that ran an organization out in Danville, and I have been around this, my whole life. So it was really great. Ryan and get him involved and working with us. He's actually, in his job that he's done with us, he's done 40,000 Spoke Note stickers for us and run those through the process. So he's been a really valuable member of our team.
The neat thing about that too is, Ryan, if you hear this someday and you get to hear us talking about this, you should think about the number of people that you've touched by packing these stickers and these packages of Spoke Notes. That means 40,000 individual memories will be linked to those packages that you've helped us put together. So thank you for doing that for us.
The thing that really inspires me through all of this is being able to create memories and pass those along to others. Having Ryan with me the 2 days a week that he comes in and works works in has been great with us. He's so enthusiastic about being here and doing his part that it just really is exciting for me.
Yeah, I think for me, inspiration comes from a lot of different places. I think the entrepreneurial journey for me is one of interaction and engagement and helping people realize their full potential. Again, whether we're talking about a brand new employee or an intern or a C-suite executive, it's my job to attract and retain the very best people and make sure that we can build a team that works well together and where everybody reaches their full potential. So that's really what I spend my time thinking about, and that's what inspires me.
This is such a great thing for us to be doing in the city because everybody has a place and everybody can fit in to this entire environment. So that is the real thing that I've seen and that I learned as a kid growing up is that even folks with disabilities are still just people and that we all have a place and a purpose.
Yeah, I would echo that you know, anytime we can create an opportunity to celebrate and expand awareness for the importance of making space for others. I'm a big believer that you can learn an awful lot from people that maybe you don't share something in common with. And so whether an entrepreneur or a CEO or business owner or manager is personally affected or impacted by someone that's different from them, they can certainly make space for others to get involved with their company and to grow personally, and that makes our community that much stronger. So that's what I'm most excited about for this month.
Can Corey and John come up? And receive your award.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. I would like to double click on Kelly's idea that closed captioning should be everywhere. As a service-disabled veteran, environments like this are really difficult for me personally. And I actually have been watching closed captions. Pretty much that's how I pick everything up. So thank you. I think that's a great idea. I use it on Zoom meetings, Google meetings, etc. So I second that one. Most important thing for me, I think, takeaway would be I look forward to a day when this matters to everyone in the community, whether you're personally touched with a friend or a family member that would be impacted by this day. Everyone in this room is obviously doing it right. We need to recruit 10 friends into this conversation next year and make it that big. So thank you for all of your work, both of you, Cecilia and Kelly, Mayor, and the community. So we're honored to be part of this. And Corey, I want to see you say something here.
It's really great to be part and be noticed. Ryan has been a great member of our team, and we've really enjoyed having him there. And he's made a very big impact on me, and he's a good kid and a good friend. So thank you. And we just need to get more people involved and realize that there are more things that make us all the same than separate us. So as long as we all keep that in mind when we deal with people and work in our day, I think everything gets better. Thank you.
Congratulations to Spoke Note. Thank you so much. I have the honor to share with you the next award. It's our final award for this year. It's the 2025 Accessibility Award. The Accessibility Award recognizes an individual, business, or organization in the Fishers community that has made exceptional contributions to advocate and or eliminate barriers in aspects of community life to ensure persons with disabilities can access and participate in programs, activities, and events. And so I'm pleased to honor and recognize a good friend of mine, amazing Mary Kennedy. Please direct your attention to the screen to share a little bit more about Mary and her recognition today.
My name is Mary Kennedy. I've been a Fishers resident since 2001, 3 weeks weeks before my son Ryan was born. I have 2 children and a husband, Dave, my husband, and Katie, Ryan's older sister, and Ryan, my son with Down syndrome. So I've always been sold in a remote biotech kind of role my whole life, and it's given me the opportunity to be very flexible with caring for my children, particularly my son Ryan, and I've always had a dream to do some things throughout Ryan's life to make him and the community he lives in more inclusive. What inspires me is the moms that I've met through other organizations, other children, other friends that my children have had who have just on their own created opportunities for their children and other children, and that, you know, anybody can do something that's significant. I've helped on boards for individuals with Down syndrome. I've volunteered at school. I used to help and run Everybody Counts, a program that was run in the elementary schools to introduce disabilities of different sorts to children so that they are educated on other differences in some of the students. So those have been some things that I've been involved with. And then of course there's Thrive Social Club. It was sort of a concept that I had for many years, looking at some of the young adults who would leave high school and not have social opportunities. So we wanted to create a club where they stayed connected to their high school friends and did things that typical 20-year-olds do in the community. So that's how, that was the concept behind Thrive. So Disability Awareness Month is important because I think it raises the consciousness of people outside the disability community, of some of the challenges that the disability community has, the accomplishments from people with disabilities, what an inclusive place we can all continue and grow to become. So the council's been great to look at all aspects, positive and need and challenges. So it's been, I think, a great way to spur on interesting and effective programs for our community.
Congratulations, Mary Kennedy. She is the founder of Thrive Social Club, and she's a rock star mom. And there's tons of moms here and members of the Thrive Social Club. It's a club for intellectual disabilities, young adults, 18 to 30-year-old. Please come up, Mary, to receive your award. Thank you for everything that you do. Say a few words.
So thank you so much for this award, and thanks to the committee. And Ryan's right here. He's excited about all this. He didn't quite get that he's behind a lot of this. So just wanted to say quickly that kind of what I mentioned in the video, that the power of a mom that wants to make their future better for their child is something that has spurred me and many moms out on. I was just at an event this weekend, actually. Gigi's Playhouse had their annual fundraiser, and Nancy Gianni started it up in Chicago. There are 60 Gigi's Playhouses throughout the country, and they have virtual programs in 93 countries. So we can do big things. I hope Thrive goes viral, and there's a Thrive Club everywhere. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mary. Over here with the mayor. We'll take a quick picture, Mary, with the mayor. And Ryan, too. Come on. Absolutely. And since we have the sound going again, we'd like to go ahead and show Carter's video. If we could cue that up. Are we able to cue that up? No? Yes? No? In a minute. Okay. Okay. While we're waiting to get that queued up, I just want to make a few remarks before we leave for the day. In honor of Disability Awareness Month, Hamilton County Tourism is proud to share a closed captioning initiative aimed at enhancing accessibility across the county. I'm proud to share that this is an initiative that has been a collaboration that we've been working on with the cities of Fishers, Carmel, Noblesville, Westfield, along with Hamilton County Government, Hamilton County Tourism, the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association, Invest Hamilton County, the Noblesville Chamber of Commerce, One Zone Chamber of Commerce, Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the Indiana Association of the Deaf, the Hearing Loss Association of America, the Indianapolis chapter. This month, you're going to hear more about this closed captioning initiative that encourages local businesses and organizations to turn on closed captioning on all of their TVs, and it provides a step-by-step instruction for different TV models and streaming services. And the participating businesses will receive a window cling that indicates that they have closed captioning activated on their screens. And so we encourage you to learn more by going to visitham.com/about-us/inspire/people/closed captioning. Do we have that set up yet? Not yet? Okay. Yep. No. In addition, the March Disability Awareness Committee has put together a month-long calendar of events for March, and so we encourage you to go to the Fishers website at www.fishersin.gov/disability awareness. Do we have the video? Is it ready? Okay, let's show Carter's video.
Hello, my name is Carter Schmidt. I'd like to thank Ms. Littman for nominating me.
Carter Schmidt is an exceptional young man who has exceeded all expectations. As a senior at Fishers High School, he thrives in our general education classes. He leads as a quarterback for the Unified Flag Football team and actively participates in Unified Track and Unified Basketball. Carter's leadership shines, whether attending the principal's leadership retreat, working at the Pacers gift shop, which I'm always trying to have him get me a Caitlin Clark jersey, or stepping up to teach my science class. He's a role model, proving that having a disability does not limit a meaningful, fulfilling, and awesome life. Congratulations, Schmitty. I'm so very proud of you.
I'm a senior at Fishers High School. I'm going to the HC transition program next year, and hopefully still do unified sports and still work for the Pacers. What inspires me is my parents, because they're always there for me. My favorite thing about Fishers is going to Tuesday night concerts. My favorite concert was the Bruno Mars concert at the Tuesday night, Nickel Plate Trail. It's so important because it just celebrates like the people with like disabilities.
Please give another warm round of applause for Carter and all our awardees today. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this celebration. One last thing is, please remember to get an Ally toolkit. We have the I'm an Ally for Disability Awareness Month, and yard signs and information about best practices while we help to become a more inclusive and accessible community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being advocates and supporting the deaf and hard of hearing community, not just in March, but every day. We really encourage you to learn a few ASL signs and to think about when we talk to people how we are really connected through language. So thank you for being here, and congratulations to everybody who won today.